Biomed Nexus Daily Updates, your essential biotech, medtech, and pharma recap. No noise, just what matters. TLDR CMS shelved the Balance program, its 5-year Medicare Part D GLP-1 coverage experiment, after CVS declined to participate and UnitedHealth Group expressed reluctance. The Medicare GLP-1 Bridge interim program has been extended through December 31, 2027. The government will fund GLP-1 coverage directly rather than requiring insurer participation. LLY and NVO shares dipped on the news. The FDA approved Merck's MRK Idvynso, doravirine, islatravir on April 25, a week ahead of its April 28 PDUFA date. It is the first non-INSTI, tenofovir-free, once-daily, complete 2-drug HIV regimen to demonstrate non-inferior efficacy versus Gilead's Biktarvy in a head-to-head Phase 3 trial. Johnson & Johnson, J&J, kicked off pharma Q1 earnings with a beat, surpassing 15 Bs in first-quarter drug sales, driven by its growing multiple myeloma franchise. Eli Lilly, LLY, acquired Crossbridge Bio for up to $300, adding dual-payload ADC technology to its oncology pipeline. This is Lilly's 4th acquisition announcement in April alone. Executive takeaway: the Balance setback is the most significant GLP-1 policy development since the Section 232 tariff announcement. The program was designed to be the mechanism through which Medicare Part D would cover GLP-1s for weight loss, a category currently barred by law from Medicare coverage. The workaround depended on getting private Medicare insurers covering at least 80% of certain beneficiaries to voluntarily participate. CVS said no. UnitedHealth's chief of government programs told investors there are notable challenges and outstanding questions with the currently planned structure. Without the 2 largest insurers, Balance cannot function as designed. CMS pivoted. The Bridge program, originally set to expire at the end of 2026, now extends through 2027. Under Bridge, the government pays directly for GLP-1 coverage at a $50 copay for eligible Part D beneficiaries, absorbing the cost rather than shifting it to insurers. For Lilly and Novo, this is a mixed outcome. Patients still get access starting July 2026, but through a less durable mechanism. Truist estimated up to $500 in negative impact on peak incretin Medicare Part D sales. Meanwhile, Merck quietly landed a significant approval. Idvynso gives Merck its first competitive entry against Gilead's dominant Biktarvy franchise in HIV, and it came a week early. Read, full analysis, what to watch, Bridge program, implementation, Medicare. Part D beneficiaries can access GLP-1s for weight loss starting July 1, 2026, through Bridge. Watch for patient enrollment numbers and CMS operational readiness. Novo Q1 earnings, first oral Wegovy revenue numbers. The Balance delay may dampen long-term Medicare revenue projections, but near-term commercial momentum is the focus. Idvynso versus Biktarvy. Merck's new HIV regimen is non-inferior to Gilead's standard of care. The commercial question is whether a non-INSTI, tenofovir-free option can take meaningful share from Biktarvy's dominant market position. ASCO. Preparation, revolution. Medicine's full Resolute 302 data gets a plenary slot on May 31st in Chicago. The oncology community will be watching for subgroup analyses, PFS data, and mature survival curves. Policy and public health Medicare shelves. Balance GLP-1 program after insurer pushback. What happened? CMS announced on Tuesday that it is shelving the Balance, better approaches to lifestyle and nutrition for comprehensive health program, the administration's proposed 5-year Medicare Part D demonstration for GLP-1 coverage. The decision came after CVS Health declined to participate and UnitedHealth Group expressed reluctance, according to Bloomberg. The program required insurers covering 80% of certain beneficiaries to opt in by April 20th. Without the 2 largest insurers, that threshold could not be met. The pivot, CMS extended the Medicare GLP-1 bridge program through December 31, 2027, originally set to expire at the end of 2026. Under bridge, CMS pays directly for GLP-1 coverage for eligible Part D beneficiaries at a $50 copay, operating outside the normal Part D benefit structure. Medicare is currently barred by law from covering weight loss drugs, so both Balance and Bridge function as demonstration programs to work around that restriction. Executive impact. This is a blow to the Trump administration, which touted deals with Lilly and Novo last year to cut GLP-1 prices in exchange for access to a new Medicare patient pool. Axios called it a shifting course. Truist estimated up to $500 million in negative impact on peak incretin Medicare Part D sales for Zepbound and Foundayo. An Eli Lilly spokesperson said the company supports the intent of the Balance pilot and that the bridge extension provides an important opportunity to continue reaching patients. For patients, the near-term effect is minimal. Bridge still launches in July 2026 with the same $50 copay. The long-term question is whether Balance ever comes back, or whether Congress ultimately needs to change the law to permanently allow Medicare weight loss drug coverage. Clinical and research updates. FDA approves Merck's Idvynso for HIV a week ahead of PDUFA MRK. What happened? The FDA approved Idvynso, doravirine, 100 mg islatravir 0, 25 mg on April 21, a week before its April 28 PDUFA date. Idvynso is a once-daily single-tablet, two-drug regimen for adults with virologically suppressed HIV-1 RNA 50 copies ml on a stable antiretroviral regimen with no history of virologic failure and no known doravirine resistance. The differentiation: Idvynso is the first and only non-INSTI integrase strand transfer inhibitor, tenofovir-free, once-daily, complete two-drug regimen approved for HIV. Current standard of care is Gilead's Biktarvy, a three-drug INSTI-based regimen. In the Phase 3 trial 052, patients switching from Biktarvy to Idvynso maintained viral suppression at non-inferior rates. Islatravir uses a novel dual mechanism, translocation inhibition, and delayed chain termination that distinguishes it from conventional NRTIs. Executive impact. This gives Merck a competitive entry in a market dominated by Gilead. Biospace noted that Idvynso will also help Merck diversify as loss of exclusivity looms over its top-selling product, the mega-blockbuster cancer drug Keytruda. The two-drug simplification and tenofovir-free profile may appeal to patients and physicians concerned about long-term tenofovir-related bone and kidney effects. The commercial question is whether Merck can take meaningful share from Biktarvy's entrenched position. Corporate and business developments. J&J beats. Q1 estimates surpasses $15 billion in drug sales. J&J Johnson & Johnson kicked off pharma earnings season with first-quarter results that exceeded Wall Street expectations, surpassing $15 billion in pharmaceutical segment sales. The company's growing multiple myeloma franchise, Darzalex, Tecvayli, Talvey, was a primary growth driver. BioPharmadive noted, J&J also set an ambitious goal for the year ahead. Lilly acquires Crossbridge Bio for up to $300 million. LLY Eli. Lilly acquired Crossbridge Bio, a Texas-based biotech, for up to $300. The deal adds dual-payload ADC technology to Lilly's oncology pipeline, according to BioPharmadive. This follows the Colonia acquisition announced on Monday and adds to the Orna $2, 4B, February, and Centessa $7, 8B, March acquisitions. Lilly's 2026 M&A total now exceeds 17. 5B. Biogen consolidates felzartamab rights for $850 BIB. Biogen consolidated full global rights to felzartamab through an $850 million deal with TJ Biopharma, according to BioWorld. The deal closes a complex 10-year licensing arrangement and gives Biogen complete control of the antibody program. The week ahead. This week, Pharma Q1 earnings continue. Novo Nordisk oral Wegovy revenue, April 28 to 29. Pharma partnering US Summit, San Diego. May 6. Royalty Pharma Q1 earnings, May 12 to 14. Fierce Biotech Week, Boston. May 29 to June So, ASCO Annual Meeting, Chicago. May 31, ASCO. Plenary, Resolute, 302. Full data, RVMD. July, Medicare, GLP. Bridge Program launches. Read Full Analysis, Biomed, Nexus. Pro-Institutional Intelligence. Brief. The balance failure and what comes next. Balance was supposed to be the mechanism through which the administration delivered on its promise to make GLP-1s accessible to Medicare beneficiaries. The program would have created a 5-year demonstration in which CMS negotiated pricing directly with manufacturers and private Medicare insurers covered the drugs as a benefit. The $50 copay was the headline. The infrastructure was the challenge. Insurers balked because balance shifted financial risk to them. Under the current Part D structure, insurers manage drug costs through formulary design, prior authorization, and rebates. Balance would have required them to cover GLP-1s for weight loss at a negotiated price without the usual cost management tools. CVS calculated that the economics did not work. UnitedHealth agreed. The Bridge program is a stopgap. It provides coverage starting July 2026, but with the government absorbing all costs. That is unsustainable at scale. If GLP-1 uptake among Medicare beneficiaries follows the commercial trajectory, Bridge costs could run into the billions annually. The extension to 2027 buys time but does not solve the structural problem. The path forward is likely legislative. Medicare is currently prohibited from covering weight loss drugs by statute. Changing that law would allow permanent coverage through the normal Part D benefit, with insurers managing costs the way they manage other drug categories. But that requires an act of Congress which has not been politically viable despite bipartisan interest. The balance failure may force the issue. Idvynso, Merck's Gilead challenge. Gilead's Biktarvy is the undisputed standard of care for HIV treatment, generating billions in annual revenue. Idvynso's value proposition is differentiation, not superiority. Non-INSTI. Some patients and physicians prefer avoiding integrase inhibitors due to weight gain concerns and potential neuropsychiatric effects. Tenofovir-free. Eliminates long-term bone density and renal concerns associated with tenofovir-containing regimens. 2-drug simplicity. 1 fewer active ingredient than Biktarvy's 3-drug regimen. The challenge, Biktarvy works extremely well. Non-inferiority is a low bar in a market where the standard of care has near-perfect viral suppression rates. Idvynso needs to find patients who are specifically dissatisfied with their current regimen or who have clinical reasons to avoid INSTIs or tenofovir. That is a niche, not a mass market. But with Keytruda facing LOE, Merck needs every revenue diversification it can get. Earnings season, J&J, sets the tone. J&J's Q1 beat, driven by multiple myeloma, Darzalex, Tecvayli, Talvey, signals that oncology franchise building is paying off across the industry. The 15B+ pharmaceutical segment performance suggests that the patent cliff fears have not yet materialized in earnings. Key upcoming reports: Novo Nordisk, oral Wegovy revenue, balance impact, Lilly, Foundayo launch, M&A commentary, Merck, Idvynso launch guidance, Keytruda trajectory, AbbVie, Humira decline rate, Skyrizi, Rinvoq growth. Catalyst calendar, April 2026. Forward date event tickers. This week, Pharma Q1 earnings, Novo oral Wegovy revenue. Expected, MVO, LLY, MRK, April 28-29 Palmer, partnering US Summit, San Diego. Multiple May, 6 Royalty Pharma Q1 earnings RPRX May, 12-14 Fierce Biotech Week, Boston. Multiple May 29 to June, 2 ASCO Annual Meeting, Chicago. Multiple May 31 ASCO Plenary, Resolute, 302 Full Data RVMD late, May 2026, Commerce, Section 232 Report on Medical Devices Expected MDT, BSX, SYK, ISRG June 2026 Takeda. CEO transition, Julie Kim. TAC July 1 Medicare, GLP-1 Bridge Program. Launches LLY NVO July 1 Foundeo. Medicare, Part D pricing, 50-month, targeted LLY July 31, Section 232, Pharma tariffs, effective, large companies, multiple H2, 2026 Lilly, Kelonia. Close expected LLY H2, 2026 Beeline Medicines, Afimetoran. Phase 2, SLE readout private H2, 2026 Revolution. Medicines, CNPV NDA filing. Expected RVMDH2, 2026 Revolution. Medicines Resolute 309 doublet trial initiation RVMDH2 2026 Novo. Nordisk a weekly. US launch, first weekly insulin, NVO mid 2026, Lilly, Retired TrueTide, Phase 3 obesity readouts, Triumph program, LY Sept, 19 Ultragenics, UX111, PDUFA, Sanfilippo Type A gene therapy. Rare Sept, 29, Section 232, Pharma tariffs, effective, all other companies, multiple deck, 31, 2027 Medicare GLP-1 Bridge Program expires, extended LOI, NVO end of 2026, Paramay CEO transition, NAA visit the Pro Hub read. Full article, is your company listed in the Biomed Nexus directory? 2,104 companies across 14 categories. Claim or upgrade your listing. Sponsorship slots for 2026 are limited. See packages and pricing